A woman who ran and won for a Democrat seat. The mayor of California City, Arcadia, is a Chinese spy. That Arcadia Mayor Eileen Wang just admitted to spreading propaganda for the People's Republic of China, right here on American soil. Under the U.S. Constitution, committing an act of treason means adhering to U.S. enemies, giving them aid and comfort. Is that what she did? And just how far is China willing to go to interfere in our American politics? I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. According to the Department of Justice, Eileen Wang and her former fiancé ran a fake website from 2020 to 2022. They published articles at the direction of the Chinese government. Here's an example from Wang's plea agreement in which she instructed to share a story denying the existence of genocide and forced labor camps inside China. A 2023 report looked into the scope of Chinese espionage in the United States. It found more than 200 incidents since 2000, with a significant spike in recent years. Last month, the FBI also gave insight into China's nefarious tactics.
They do these very overt things to scare the rest of the community, and they recruit people to report, within the community. So they're creating this Orwellian climate of fear where everyone is afraid to speak out.
So there are Chinese spies among us. Eileen Wang, admittedly one of them. All of this comes as President Trump is now headed to China today for a high-stakes summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping. And we are covering all of this from all angles. Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn will join me moments from now. Let's go first to Matt Finn for the very latest on this shocking case of a former California mayor who's a Chinese spy. Matt.
Harris, the feds say that former mayor here in California operated a bogus website that pretended to be a news source for the Chinese American community, but instead promoted propaganda on behalf of China. The federal plea agreement says Eileen Wang took directives from the People's Republic of China on what to post on the fake website between 2000 and 2022 before she became a council member and ultimately mayor of Arcadia. For example, in 2021, Wang reposted a pro-Chinese essay that read, "There is no genocide in Xinjiang. There is no such thing as forced labor in any production activity, including cotton production. Spreading such rumor is to defame China." Now, right after that article was shared on the bogus website, a Chinese official praised Wang and others in a group chat, writing, "So fast. Thank you, everyone." Federal prosecutors say Chinese officials had such fine control of the website that they would even message Wang and others about specific paragraphs or edits they wanted in articles, all to make the PRC look good.
Essentially, it means she worked in the United States for another government, for its officials. She executed directives. She did what they told her to do. They'll give her praise for how well she's doing, and she'll say, "Thank you, leader."
As part of the federal plea agreement, Wang resigned as mayor of Arcadia, California, and pleaded guilty to the felony offense of acting as an illegal agent. She faces up to 10 years in prison. Now, the feds say Wang worked alongside her former fiancé, Mike's son, who also previously pled guilty to espionage charges and was sentenced to 48 months in prison. Harris.
Matt, thank you very much. And focus now, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Republican from the great state of Tennessee, a member of the Judiciary and Finance Committees, and now a candidate for governor of Tennessee. Good to see you today. I can't say that we can be all that shocked when you look at the numbers of people from that country, China, working against us on American soil. But your reaction to this case?
What we know is that she is guilty, has pled guilty to these actions. And Harris, it just makes the point. As you said, the spies are among us. China will lie, cheat, steal in order to get our intellectual property. And the CCP is involved in this, whether it is embedding spyware into some of their hardware for our online systems, whether it is trying to get into research institutions, whether it is their soft propaganda programs like Confucius classrooms. And let me tell you something, any high school that is having these students from China, you need to be very careful about that. You need to watch out who is coming in. These colleges that still have Confucius institutes, think about what you're doing. These cities that still have sister city programs with these cities in China. Harris, what they're doing is opening the door for this soft propaganda. And bear in mind, the Chinese Communist Party is directing every bit of this. They were directing the mayor of Arcadia, California, who was running this so-called website.
Look, what you're talking about is an enemy from within. And
oh, absolutely.
Getting into just the minutia of the way that we live and run our government and the democracy, the republic that we are. You're putting people in powerful positions. And look, Arcadia doesn't have millions of people, but you know what it has? Veins to the system, to a large state, to our country. It's really actually very dangerous. President Trump is bringing a business and tech delegation with him to Beijing, China, including Tesla and SpaceX's Elon Musk, Apple's Tim Cook. We'll scroll it for you here. Larry Fink, BlackRock, so on and so forth. I want to ask you, Senator, the timing of this trip and what we've just learned, along with the war that's going on. I just want your top line thoughts on all of it.
And on this, we should be aware that China is part of the axis of evil. Russia, China, Iran, North Korea. China serves as the bank for a lot of what is going on right now in the Middle East, what is happening to Ukraine. They are a part of this. Their goal, go read Sun Tzu and The Art of War. Their goal is to overtake us by the time we get to 2050. They are very given to that goal. They are not for us. And if you give them a chance to cheat, lie, steal, they are going to do that. The CCP, that is standard operating procedure for them. And this is a word of caution, a sign of caution. As I said, think twice. Confucius classrooms, Confucius Institute, sister city programs. These are their soft propaganda items.
Look, it's really interesting that our president now steps into the fold and takes basically a parade of technology and business and high-profile titans with him, as if to say, I bring the world from my country with me. China, I'm going to sit down with you amid a war. What do you think that communicates to our enemies around the world?
And President Trump always negotiates from a position of strength. And China's economy is suffering. Their manufacturing is beginning to fold, and they're not seeing the growth that they once did. They are seeing diminishment in many of these sectors, and whether it's furniture or soft goods or hard lines. And so, Harris, one of the things they're turning to is technology. But the president, from a position of strength, taking the tech titans with him, is going to say to them, look, if we can get you to an agreement where we're going to be honest, you're going to be truthful, you're not going to cheat, these are things we can work with you on. But if you're going to continue down this road of propaganda and cheating, we're not going to work with you. China, because of the chip industry, because of technology, because of what they're wanting to do with auto parts, etc., they want to be a part of a world economy. But you know what? They've got to abide by some rules, and they've got to stop cheating and functioning with spies embedded in our institutions. And look at what they're doing with government, getting people in place so they can know what we're doing with these sensitive systems and where we're putting our money in grants, what we are doing to support local, state, and federal participation in different areas of governance. And we would rather China be a good actor, but China has chosen over and over again to be a bad actor. They need to change those evil ways.
Well, and Senator, just to add on to it, you know, Benjamin Netanyahu and as the Prime Minister of Israel and others have been saying that it very strongly looks like China has been helping Iran amid the war. And that,
Yes.
again, would be acting against us as we hold that U.S. blockade, hold the line on that, and hold a ceasefire from our end of it as well. Senator, great to have you as always. Thank you.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.